Friends, welcome back to Pitch and Bitch. Oh, I'm so excited today. Today, we have the pleasure of doing a double feature once again.
Woo.
Oh my God, so exciting. So today we are going to actually talk about a movie and its remake. We are going to be talking about Speak No Evil from 2022 and Speak No Evil from 2024.
These two movies fall into that weird category where a foreign film counterpart has been made and an English remake has been also made.
And I would argue that they are both really good.
I feel like both of them say what they need to say for each audience.
Exactly.
I will say that the American version obviously is a bit lighter on the American audiences for sure.
Yes, definitely not as bleak.
Oh no.
But as you guys probably figured out by now, I love a bleak ending. So.
How did these movies find you? Because I always feel like these ones are always mentioned by people as, especially like it coming out, the 2022 one, people were already talking about it on different horror podcasts already.
Yep.
So that was my kind of first one, but was it the same for you?
Yeah, it was. I heard about this on one of your and my favorite horror podcasts, The Evolution of Horror with Mike Munzer. If you've never listened, give it a shot.
It's probably the same for me.
I mean, that was where I heard about it for the first time, and this was the Danish version, the original. I heard him discuss it. I don't remember which episode it was on, but he was talking about how great and how bleak it was. And I was like, okay, like I love a bleak movie. And usually I agree with Mike Munzer. Not always, but usually. So on that note, let's get into it.
Let us get into it.
Let's get into it. So the 2022 version of Speak No Evil, which I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the Danish title, but it translates to The Guests in English. Just a heads up, I am not going to pronounce some of the actors, etc. involved names in the Danish version because I do not want to absolutely butcher them. So I will be referring to them by their character names. Just a heads up. It's because, guys, it would just be so bad if I tried.
No disrespect.
I can do the French. Danish is different, okay? Like, I only have so many skills.
Whole different pastry.
Thank you, Jayme. That was perfect.
No worries.
So the original version of Speak No Evil was written and directed by Christian Tafdrup, which I'm assuming is how you pronounce that. Please don't come for me. And Mads Tafdrup, which I'm assuming is potentially a something since they have the same last name. Yeah, I kind of assumed. This movie came out in March of 2022. And what did you think of this movie, Jayme? Did you like it?
I did. This movie is so bleak. It's insane. And the slow reveal and just the willingness of consent the entire time. And they just kept going and the politeness and it just kept, I'm like, leave.
I feel like these movies are the epitome of our season. We should leave. This is social awkwardness horror at its height.
The stains on the sheets, the eating of the meat,
so
everything was not a good time.
All of it.
The uncomfortableness of how he, both characters talk to the children.
Yes, and, how they interact as couples. Oh, God, it's so much. Okay, let's do a brief synopsis for the people here.
Thank you.
So, when a Danish family is invited to spend the week at the idyllic countryside estate of a charming Dutch family whom they befriended on vacation, what begins as a dream holiday soon warps into a snarled psychological nightmare. As the weekend progresses, they realize that an unspeakable darkness lies within the family who invited them. Da, 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 da.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
I'm just thinking, I've been traumatized.
Right? This movie is traumatic. It is a lot, but honestly, I had a great time watching it, which is a really weird thing to say. It was so compelling, and I did find that for the original, it has such a tight runtime. The pacing is so good. As soon as you start, you are off to the races with this movie. No time wasted, which I love.
The camera work is already instantly amazing because the way that they follow the family in the beginning is just so lurker-like. And then it's just in your face the entire time. And just so many, many awkward, tight-lipped smiles and just willingness to keep going with things.
One thing that really struck me actually right off the bat.
Shouldn't have gone back for the rabbit.
Oh, God, no, never. Never. We'll get to that in a minute, but never. What really got to me right off the bat actually was the score in this version. In the opening sequence, you've got this big bombastic horror score. Like, this movie tells you exactly what it is in the first few frames, and I'm so here for it. I love that kind of sort of economy of time in a movie. I love it. Just set the tone and let's roll. Let's go.
And I'm glad they do, because they really go for it.
They do. They go for it in this movie. So,
and I'm not a parent, but I know how well they have impacted this. It has impacted me. You can only be sympathetic to what the situation is, and especially how he finds Abel in the pool.
Oh.
It's like, oh my God, leave.
Okay, yeah. So, like, proviso, neither Jayme nor myself have children. We are not parents. So obviously our views will potentially differ from someone who has a child. However, that said, one, I don't care how you feel. How you treat my kid is not up for debate after a certain point. If I decide that your decision, like, if I see your decision making is not in alignment with the kind of parenting that I'm trying to do with my child, we're gonna go. And that's it. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. We are out. Like, I can't in both versions of this. Like, the parenting. Oh my God.
I know, it's pretty
so much.
wild. It is pretty
lot.
wild. The fact that they stay in some of the situations that they do.
Yes.
Is heartbreaking.
It really is. Because, like, I get the social awkwardness thing, and, like, I don't know, maybe just because of who I am, like, sure, befriend people on vacation, have a good time. I don't know if I'm going to go visit you after that.
I feel like horror movies had made me the person where it's like, I don't want vacation friends. Don't look at me.
That, I mean, realistically, I'm not really a vacation friends person either. But, like, that said, sure, if I met you on vacation and we had a nice time for a couple of days, great. I love that for us. You're never going to hear from me again.
There's just too many, there's too many movies. The anxiety is there.
Too much true crime.
The perfect getaway.
Right? I can't. No.
Too many.
We don't need a talented Mr. Ripley situation here.
Exactly.
Okay? Like,
exactly.
No. And to think that's the lighter option of these two.
I love how they, like, the European filming locations for both movies are so beautiful. It's like, it makes me want to go on vacation. I'm not going to lie. And not talk to anybody and not have vacation friends. It's like, yeah, I want to leave right now,
like,
too.
I want to go to Italy, but I want wine and eat food and see artwork and history and walk around in the beautiful Italian countryside. I don't want to talk to random people.
And then come back.
Yeah.
And come back.
And then come back alive and whole. That's what I would like.
Simple as
Not
that.
traumatized and potentially missing a limb. Like, no.
100%.
But, yeah. Oh, God.
It's rough.
It's rough. And I mean, for me, what I found really interesting was when for you in the Danish version was the first sort of red flag, like, warning sign?
It's difficult. I can't think of a distinct part because I knew that they weren't good people. So
right? It's almost right off the bat. Like, there's just, the vibe is off. Like, this person may be charismatic, but they're not a trustworthy or safe person. There's just something.
No, 100%.
About them, right?
100%.
And I feel like, especially in this one, you get that from the couple, like the Dutch couple. Patrick and Karen, which, by the way, that is so triggering for me because those are my parents' names.
They've been on vacation.
They just got back. Oh, God. But don't worry, they're fine. They're in their 60s and very nice people. Very non-threatening. Yeah.
Take us with you.
Right? Well, what I found kind of fascinating was the actors who play Patrick and Karen are actually married in real life.
Isn't that fun?
Like, right? That's kind of fun. But also, like, I kind of love how that really sells that bond that they have in the movie.
Does.
And
it
like
does.
I think because they have the deeper bond in life, you can sell that almost like psychosexual bond that they clearly have so much more easily, right? And just like
too much lurking.
Right?
Too
so
much lurking.
And like peering through windows and things and like, ooh. And like,
I'll be watching you.
Honestly, for me, the sequence where Louise is in the shower and she just hears Patrick come in and brush his teeth.
It's the worst power move ever.
It is, but at the same time, I would say something to my partner about that. And if your partner doesn't understand why that's a power move, that's a red flag for your partner, in my opinion. Like, you are in the shower. You are so vulnerable. And this is someone who you barely know. And they're just rocking up right next to you. Like, that's a lot.
100%.
That's a lot.
I with the job that I have experienced that men go on journeys to find a public washroom instead of disturbing their wife in the shower.
Right?
It's been a few occasions have happened, just asking me where they are and just being in that situation. And it is quite a funny situation to be in. So the fact that he crossed that barrier is insane to me.
Because that's the thing. Like, if it's your wife and she's in the shower, then that's fine. Of course. Like, that's your partner. That doesn't matter. I'm sure they're used to it at that point. Like, it's fine. But, like, this is someone else's partner, which, like, I feel like especially for heterosexual people, that is a boundary you are not crossing.
Yes, especially knowing that some men won't even go in there.
Right?
So the fact that it's a stranger is ridiculous. Like,
wild.
It's haunting.
Wild.
I'm already uncomfortable.
Right? At that point, I would be like, okay, we're out. Like, we're out. That's it.
Give me this space.
Yep. Can't do it. And I mean, if that's your vibe in your house, that's your business, but you should let people know that so that they can decide if they're comfortable with that.
I don't like this house.
I don't like you taking away my consent, sir.
And immediately, the storyline is smooth and because of how it's set up.
Yes.
You're at a second location. It's in the countryside.
In the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Which, like, that to me is also the ultimate red flag. Come visit us in the country, and there's nobody anywhere.
You sent, like, a flimsy postcard, and they said, go.
Right? Like, bro, did you even Google these people? It's 2026. Or in this case, 2022.
Shaking my head.
What are we doing? One thing I did actually really like about this version is I felt like the parents, like our Danish couple, were actually a lot more likable than the American couple in certain ways. Like, they were clearly having problems. Like, their relationship was strained. Things like all was not necessarily perfect.
I think that's why their marriage benefited them.
Exactly. But like for them, I felt like, as I say, they were just a little more real. They were a little more likable. Whereas I felt like the American version of it, they're sort of a little more veering on the side of caricature when it comes to parents, which is a very American thing.
They do make me quite upset. I don't know why. I understand it's a movie.
They make me so upset.
But yes.
Yes. And we'll get to it in a little bit when we talk about the American one. But like, yeah, they make me so upset.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I feel like both of the kids in this movie are also really good.
They are.
Like, especially the little boy who plays Abel, I think is really, really good. Like, the little girl who plays Agnes doesn't have like a ton to do until the end, which like, oh, woof.
I'm glad that like they had to change the ending, obviously, for the American version, because knowing the information that you do for the 2022 one, it does kind of like, you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Right? Well, like, okay, here's a question for you, Jayme, because this is sort of a hard boundary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
How do you feel about seeing child death on screen in terms of like a horror movie?
That's why I brought up not being a parent, because it's not as difficult for me. I do feel like the older I get, the more sensitive I am.
Absolutely, I agree.
I like there's more. I don't know what's going on with my brain, but I do feel like the willingness to cry is more there.
Yep, absolutely.
I just admitted that. I feel like that's a warning for everybody.
It is because there is.
Be careful with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and I completely agree. Like, the older I get, I absolutely cannot handle certain violence towards kids on screen and things like that. Like, in this movie, thankfully it's handled fairly well in that you don't witness directly a lot of the violence. You witness the repercussions of the violence, which unfortunately
it has to be tastefully done.
Yes, which unfortunately is a dead child, as we said previously. We're sorry if we're triggering anybody. I'm assuming if you've watched this movie, probably not, but just in case. Yeah, like, that's hard, but I do feel like in this movie it is handled well. Like you were saying, it is tastefully done in that you don't actually see this poor child dying. You just see the after effects.
100%.
Basically, which is a better way to do it, in my opinion.
Being a longtime podcast listener of just a lot of people, I have listened to them say that it has affected them more as having children and becoming parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this movie might be a struggle, and like you just said, they did kind of handle it in a way that it is going to impact the storyline. It's
Yes.
not distasteful where it's not going to push the plot or anything.
Yeah,
but
it is essential to the plot.
Yes, and it does make it helpful to have such a release in the American one because you're like, justice for Abel,
Right?
justice for all of them.
Well, I mean, the fact that you do see in the Danish version, you know, you have dead Abel in the pool, which is awful, but then you also have Agnes actually being mutilated on camera. I mean, obviously it's like CGI, like that's not actually a thing, but like,
but it's there.
It's there, and I didn't think it was gonna go there when I was watching it because I had heard about the ending before I watched this movie, so I did know what I was in for, but I didn't think we were going to actually see her use like the garden scissors from before and go for it. That was fucking wild.
It was.
That was wild. Like, oh my God, the ending of this movie is absolutely fucking insane. Like, between that and then the parents literally being stoned to death, like bludgeoned and stoned to death. Holy shit. I mean, Denmark, you ain't fucking around.
You don't need a longer runtime than that.
No. And that was one thing that really struck me because the American version is about 20 minutes longer. It's like, I think, between 15 and 20 minutes longer. And the stories are virtually identical. The scripts are very, very similar. They have some of the same dialogue and things because James Watkins, who made the remake, actually just adapted the original screenplay.
Yes.
So they are very, very similar. But like, oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't know Denmark went that hard. Holy shit.
They like metal.
They do. They do. I like
It's
some
there.
of their metal.
Yeah.
It's a thing, but like, wow.
It was hardcore.
It was.
It was hardcore.
Is bleak. It is bleak. And
I don't know if this is a stupid observation. It's just interesting that American audiences are told that we're not as sensitive, though we have more uplifting endings. And you take something
Right?
as like a darker ending from a European independent horror film,
Right.
and it gets translated into, right? It's very interesting. I'm not sure if that's just like,
Well, I think,
but we are perceived.
I think you've hit at something interesting because like that's absolutely true. They soften the ending a lot in the American version, but there's a lot more on-screen violence in the American version.
That's
you have
true.
the whole shootout in the house where they're going through everywhere. You have like James MacAvoy getting like chemical burns. You have like at one point he gets slashed with a scalpel.
Fuck, they move so slow.
They do. But like
That's that runtime.
right? It's that sequence. I feel
You're
like
right.
that's the runtime. And
You're
you know,
right.
somebody gets like a hammer to the back of the head. Like there's a lot more violence in the American one, but then they soften the ending. Whereas in the Danish one, there's a lot less on-screen violence, but that ending, oh my God. So it's kind of fascinating to look at the perception of the audiences. I think is so interesting. Like, we can handle all this violence, but we can't handle that bleak ending. We need something uplifting at the end or we're not going to like it.
I do.
I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time...
But I like both.
I love a bleak ending. My thing is, like, commit. Do the bleak ending.
And then it just changes how you're going into the American one. So
Right?
you do need to see something different, and whether it was going to be bleak or not bleak, but I don't know. I like both, though.
I do, too.
Yeah.
So before we get into the American one, because I feel like we're getting to that point here.
Yeah.
How much do you think this movie cost to make?
Like 10 million?
Ooh, no. $3.2 million or 2.8 million euro at the time.
Okay.
And this was shot in 2020, actually during COVID, which...
Yeah, okay, funny point. So this movie got affected by COVID.
It did.
And then the American one got affected by the writer's strike.
Exactly,
So
yes.
like bada boom, bada bing.
Right? So this movie actually got shot in like 4 or 5 sort of sections of like a couple weeks at a time.
Okay.
And it was due to COVID restrictions, basically, because they started shooting, they got cut off for quarantine, they started shooting again, they got cut off again, and it was just kind of like the same story over and over again. And then for the American remake, you're absolutely right. They had finished 90% of the shooting. They had 5 days left to shoot, and the SAG-AFTRA strike hit. And that was
crazy.
it. Yeah, and they had to come back all that time later for 5 days of shooting.
Brutal, because like you're almost done,
right? You're
like,
so close.
You would have
to being
so much
done,
edited, you know,
right? Like all of your actors are like finishing up. You've probably already wrapped a couple people. Like, oh yeah, it would be so much.
And the difficulty of shooting with children and giving it too much of a time gap is they grow up.
Right? This is the problem that people don't necessarily think about, is like...
Little Timmy could have a growth spurt.
Right? At any time.
Anytime.
He could have a growth spurt. His voice could drop. Like, any number of things could happen.
Yes.
Like...
It's such a fragile industry.
Right? Well, it's just one of those things that you have to weirdly bear in mind that nobody really thinks about. Even people in the industry, you don't go into a project being like, well, what if we get cut off halfway through? Like,
but legitimately, thank you to people who just kept persevering through and making movies during COVID restriction time and making sure that we still have something to go see when we go to the theaters.
Right.
I hope we're past that. Obviously, we're past that point, but it was a hard button there for a minute.
It was. And it also forced people to do some really cool creative things during COVID.
A lot of passion projects, I feel, got granted.
Absolutely. Which I'm here for. So it's like kind of a weird, interesting side effect that we saw, which like I'm kind of here for.
Me too. And it was definitely fun to like watch a movie and you're like, was this a passion project? And then you look it up, interview, it was a passion project. I'm like, thank you for your passion.
Love you. Thank you. Yeah, so this movie cost about $3.2 million to make. I couldn't find any information about its opening in terms of takings. However, the number, would you like to guess how much this potentially made?
I hope it made its money back. I hope it made like at least like, you know, opening weekend $1 million overall. I hope it made like at least like 60 million, or what are we talking here? No,
I'm gonna disappoint you, Jayme.
Oh no,
because the only number that I could find online, and I searched a few different sites, was $377,000 or $377,060 for its global takings, which like. I really hope that that's not accurate, but that is all I could find. So I hope not. But
can I say a theory?
Absolutely.
If I was this writer and I sold my rights to an American screen adapter or writer, and they, well, I guess he's in this James Watkins, he's British.
Well, in this case, they sold them to Blumhouse because that's who made the movie.
You sell the rights, which is very smart because your money lost. You have such a good film idea, and it lost money during COVID because people probably weren't going to the theaters, or theaters probably weren't as open. Who knows? And then that way you get a chance to make your money back. Because I feel like Speak No Evil did do well.
It did. We'll get into it later, but the remake did do very well.
And considering the fact that it was a single location, depending how much James MacAvoy is, yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Well, James MacAvoy is also known for taking on passion projects for less than his normal fee. That is something that as an actor he's known for doing. So they may have gotten him for less. I'm honestly not sure what his take was from this movie, but and we'll get into it later.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the original did not.
Yeah. Well, to quote Catherine O'Hara's character from Schitt's Creek, it's like, get naked pictures of yourself. Like
now,
he just looked great.
Take 1,000 naked pictures of yourself.
Oh, my character's you're supposed to look buff? Okay.
Oh my God, yes. James MacAvoy, again, we will talk about this a little bit more, but I have some complex feelings regarding James MacAvoy in this film.
I'm sorry to bring up your feelings.
It's a lot. Okay. So this movie premiered in March of 2022. It has an 83% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 59% audience score, which, like, yo, what are we doing? That should be higher. This is a good movie. Like, that should be higher. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead.
That's interesting.
I'm going to go ahead and make a big old assumption on this one. So people feel free to yell at me if you want. I feel like that has to do with people being completely unwilling to watch something that has subtitles. Because foreign films almost always have lower audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes and things like that. Not always, but like a lot of the time.
Okay, so the interesting part is I don't feel like it has a pretty good balance of English, considering that the evil people are English speakers
for most of the movie. Yeah,
so it's not even that much.
I know, but like that was the only thing I could really think of for why it would be so much lower. I'm like, come on, y'all.
But the funny part is I agree with you, because it also has been the reason why I have stayed away from it and waited for the American version.
No, Jayme, bad.
And not like stayed away from it in a bad way, but just in a sense of like, I'll have everybody tell me as much as I need to tell me.
Okay.
Because you have to be in the mood to...
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I heard about it, I don't know if it was 2022 or 2023, but by then they had already announced the remake. So I was like, okay, I'll watch both, was my thing. I'll watch both. And then we decided to start this show, and I was like, well, I'm going to save it for the pod. which I did. So this was a first time watch for me for the Danish version. I had seen the remake before, but this was a first time watch, and I very much enjoyed it. But it premiered in the midnight section at the Sundance Film Festival in January of 2022, and honestly, critics loved it. The one thing that it was basically noted for was how much of a social satire it actually is, particularly when it comes to what the director referred to as Danish compliance, since politeness is a very, very big thing culturally in a lot of Europe, more so than it is in America. I hate to break it to you guys, but that's a thing. So what would you rate this one, Jimmy?
The Danish one, pretty high. I'm going 7 out of 10.
Me too. I also had a 7 out of 10. For me, I really loved the direction and the score. And then the actor, again, whose name I'm not going to butcher, who played Patrick, he really stood out to me. I think, and that's true of the remake as well. Like, it really is sort of like that villain Patty or Patrick story in a lot of ways, even though he's not the protagonist. He's the driving force behind most of the movie. And I do think it's really good. Apparently, actually, they had a lot of issues casting Patrick and Karen in the Danish version. They had, I think, like a dozen Dutch actors who all auditioned, and the director just like didn't really believe that they were enthusiastic about it because the movie is so dark. So they were like auditioning because they needed a job, not because they actually really wanted to make this movie, which, like, you know what? You're an actor. It's a job. That's fair. But a few actually even like canceled their auditions at the last minute because like they didn't want to deal with the finale and particularly like the child death and abuse in the script. It was just too much for a lot of people. And apparently the actors who wound up in the film did actually hesitate until like the last possible minute, but the director met with them and they decided that they liked him enough to potentially sign on for this.
That's perfect.
Right? Which, like, they do a great job.
I think they do too.
They do. I think they're really, really good.
Because, like, especially with the harsh subject matter that he is approaching, as we said earlier, it is treated well. Mm-hmm. And because you're not seeing a final product, definitely auditioning for something. Right? I could see the hesitation because you don't want to make something that's just gratuitous.
Exactly. And like for a lot of actors, like a lot of people talk about the fact that sometimes you shoot something and you agree to a script and then what comes out on the other end is very different than what you had imagined.
Yes.
Or even were told.
Yes.
And things like that. So with a project that has so much sensitive content the way that this one does, I can understand the hesitation, but I do think that they handle it really well.
I'm glad he held out for the right cast.
Me too.
It makes a huge difference.
It really, really does. I think it makes all the difference at that point. So do you want to hear about the original ending for this movie? Because this is not the original ending for the Danish version.
Oh, okay. Surprise me.
So the original ending actually featured other people being executed in different ways. There would be like 30 people from other houses who also had guests that they planned to execute. Like, this is like a whole community of people doing this, almost like a religious sect. But complications with filming with so many extras during COVID and all this other stuff. And they also just decided that they wanted to simplify the plot.
Less is more sometimes.
Exactly.
Unless you're Human Centipede 3.
You're my fucking favorite. Sorry, guys. I need a moment for that one.
It's a movie podcast.
It's a movie podcast.
We talk about movies.
We talk about scary movies. Okay. Got this.
I'm happy it worked out that way because
yes.
Not everything needs to be a religious sect. And
yes, and a huge operatic ending. Like, sometimes, as you say, like, less is more. Keep it simple.
Very impactful.
Yes.
Already.
Exactly.
There's the mutilation on top of the death,
right?
which is a lot.
And, like, one thing I both loved and hated about this version is when you have, like, they've left and the car is broken down and he's like, okay, I'm going to go for help. You know, stay in the car, lock the doors. She calls them because he didn't tell her. That's what kills me about this movie for both of them, like Louise and for Bjorn. Like, they have these experiences with these people, which are not, they're not even red flags. They are full on screaming stop signs, and they don't tell each other because their marriage isn't working, which, like, it all makes sense. I get it. But, like, oh my God, talk to your partner.
See,
like,
I am such a shit talker. I'd be like, that's so fucking weird. Like,
see,
my
thing is,
like, wouldn't you call somebody right away? Like, you'd be talking with it's like, hey, I know we're fighting right now, but what we just saw right there, that was weird.
Up.
Yes.
Like, this is outside of our marital issues. This situation is fucked and we need to go. And, like, especially if I'm Louise at the end when he's, like, pulling them out of bed in the middle of the night and they're leaving, and then he's clear, like, he is having a moment. He is clearly panicking. He is terrified.
And she is whatting everywhere.
Well, she's, like, sleeping in the back of the car. And, like, I get it. It's late. But if my partner woke me up in that much of a panic and insisted that we leave, okay,
let your stranger's home.
Right? Let your daughter sleep in the back. That's fine. But you look at your partner and go, you can give me the Cliff's Notes version, but tell me what the fuck is going on right now. Like, we're leaving. I'm not arguing with you. Just tell me what's happening. Because she needs to know.
This is why you need to have a safe word outside
or a gesture
of the bedroom,
or something.
Yeah, like a signal, something.
It's time to go.
Because then that way, if you know that you guys like are mad at each other,
yes,
then you know that there's an out.
Right? I call it the trap door. You have to have a trap door always in any social situation.
I pulled the invisible rope.
Exactly. Like, maybe you, I don't know, pull on your earlobe, touch your nose, say the word watermelon, like, whatever it is. But it's time to go.
So, communicate.
Yes.
Lesson of the day.
Yes.
I do, again, because I feel like the comparative, the endings, it feels that both messages are said throughout. Because both of the chilling line of,
oh, why are you doing this to us? Because you let me. Oh, like, that's so good and so fucking scary.
It twists every single time.
Well, because it's so real. Like,
it is very
in the name
real.
of, not upsetting the social boat, there is so much that people will put up with. Like, you see videos of it all the time where someone is being like, somebody's trying to beat on somebody and there are people who just walk right past. And you're like, guys, this is not normal. Like, should we maybe pause? Should we call someone? Should we figure something out? No?
It's crazy.
It's wild. And it's like, I love how much this tapped into that in such a great way. Because it is that, where you're just like, oh, well, maybe, they serve meat when they arrive, even though Louise is vegetarian. Maybe they just forgot. But at the same time, Louise doesn't speak up. She doesn't say anything. Which you can be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I should have reminded you that I'm vegetarian. I completely forgot. Like, don't worry about it. I'll figure myself out. It's fine. But nope.
I don't like this.
See, I can't. I joke about this a lot. I'm physically incapable of shutting the fuck up. Like, that's just not something that's in my DNA. So in that situation, I don't think I would be able to just be like, and eat the meat if I'm vegetarian. Like, if I've made that decision, then, like, no, I will be nice about it. I won't be rude, but I'm not going to do that.
Yes. And that sequence is hard to watch on both parts because I'm a meat eater, but
Same.
For those who don't eat meat, I don't know if it's difficult on your digestion to eat meat when you haven't eaten meat because you're just introduced like that.
It absolutely is. Yep.
So the fact that you're willing to make yourself possibly sick,
well,
just to kind of to shoo away this confrontation,
right?
But it causes more confrontation, which is funny as a non-confrontational person. Right? Where I'm just like, kettle calling the pot black. That's what it is right now, you guys.
I mean, I so get that, but at the same time, for me, it's like, and it's the whole premise of the movie is just the compromising on your personal boundaries in order to like obey social norms. And I don't know, maybe I'm just rude. Maybe I'm too neurodivergent. I don't know. Somebody can tell me. Armchair diagnose me if you must. Like, I can't do it.
Maybe you witness somebody buy too many products from an MLM. Maybe you're learning from lessons.
Yeah, like when I think about the vegetarianism, because it's like,
it's rough.
You'll get potentially sick, like you were saying. Also, if you are vegetarian for that long, you probably don't enjoy meat anymore. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Feel free to correct me. But also, like, the moral and ethical boundaries that you have put up in your life to become a vegetarian, that's a commitment that you have made. And now, nope. That's it.
Exactly.
Like, girl, what? What was the point of that?
And you can like look at it like from a crazy standpoint and just think of it like he is a bad person.
Yeah.
He is the snake with the apple. She is
Absolutely.
the lady. Like it is quite the
metaphors
position.
are,
It is. You can really deep into
aplenty.
it. I agree. And that is a small example of just how it just keeps going from there. And the willingness keeps opening up, and their daughter, it's like finding them sleep, like that's too much.
Okay, yeah.
All of it's too much.
I was going to save this until we got to the American one, but let's talk about it now. For you, what is the hard line where you would leave? That's it. No more questions asked. We're out. Because I have one. I have a very specific hard line in both of these movies where I would be out.
See, okay, like a part of me is like, I'm not even replying to that invitation.
Oh, no, like I would never go. But if you were there. Like,
but if I was actually there, the hard line, I think it would have to, as soon as you would understand that your child's safety is in danger, I think that would have to be the hard line, because for some reason, for yours and the other person's, you know, you just want to get through this uncomfortable weekend.
Yeah.
Or the position of just like staying, you'd probably stay one night.
Yeah.
But because the stained sheets, that would be
so
enough
gross.
for me. I don't know why that is enough for me.
That would get to me too. That would absolutely get to me. I would not sleep on that bed, or I would not sleep like in those sheets. I would sleep on like the top of the quilt or something. Like, no. But no, for me, I agree. And it's the moment where Karen, or Kira in the American version, takes Agnes into bed with the two of them. And Louise finds them, because in the American version, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
In the American version, Patty, James MacAvoy, is wearing underwear, and in the Danish version, Patrick is naked. And maybe I'm being very, very American and very prudish. I don't know, but to me, taking a child into a bed with a naked or semi-naked strange man and woman, that's never okay. Like, it's just not. Like, I'm sorry. That's
the frown I have.
Right? If that's your kid, I still think that's a little weird, but that's your business. That's your kid. If it's my kid, absolutely fucking
not.
This
is a stranger.
Absolutely
this
not.
Is a stranger.
And like in the Danish one, I thought it was interesting because in the Danish one, they don't really try to excuse it. Karen just says she was crying and you like weren't showing up. So like, what did you expect me to do, basically? Whereas in the American version, you get a much longer sort of explanation of Kira explaining her trauma surrounding like child death and how she just like couldn't handle it. And it's very clearly that she's manipulating these people to excuse her actions.
The first time I saw that scene, I had this weird feeling that it was almost like her seeing her daughter a part of that family, and how like disgusting it is, and not leaving in that instance, and not feeling like in your gut that there's something
time to
wrong.
go. And like, I want to be clear, I do potentially think that the stuff Kira talks about in the American one, both like that sequence and then later when she says that Patty like took her when she was younger, things like that, I do actually think those are potentially true. I don't think she's lying, but I think she's using it as a manipulation tactic.
Oh, she is at that point.
Which, like,
unfortunately at that point she is.
And for me, like,
the cycle is.
I remember when I first watched this movie, because I saw it in theaters, and watching that sequence, I was like, in my head, I was like, bitch, leave. You can say to her, I'm so sorry. That's awful. I can't imagine how bad that would be. But that does not change the fact that your actions have shown I do not trust your judgment around my child, which means we need to go.
Like in the new Scream, just shoot her in the head.
Just like be done with it. Go. Go, 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 go.
At this point, she has cut out people's tongues. Like, at this point, she has assisted. She's pointed the guns at you.
She's absolutely a villain.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. She has trauma, but she's absolutely a villain. And, like...
It's just the manipulation just keeps going. I know what you mean, because it's like you want to be sympathetic, but it's like this woman is a predator.
I can acknowledge that you have trauma, but you are also using that to inflict further trauma on others. Like, it's... Two truths can exist simultaneously. But for me, that's the hard line. When that happens, and when the daughter... Okay... We'll get into it now, because we were talking about the parenting, and this is what drives me nuts. It's much more so in the American one. These fucking people, and I don't have kids, so like, you know, write me off if you want. That's fine. These people are fucking terrible parents. Like, that dad is not an active, engaged parent at any point. He just gets annoyed with his kid, basically. He's not actually interested in parenting her. And that mom is like the ultimate helicopter mom who's doing too much, probably because her husband's not really doing anything. And then, you know, stress and all this other stuff. So this is her outlet. But like, if your kid is almost 12 and is that anxiously attached to a stuffed animal to the point where she will almost cause you to get in a traffic accident that would have killed all three of you over her stuffed bunny, it's time to take her to like a therapist or something and figure out what's happening, because that's a sign of a bigger problem. If she's that anxious all the time. She's 11. Like, not to say that kids shouldn't don't experience anxiety. They do. But it's your job as a parent to figure out why that's happening and how to help her, not just accommodate the anxious behavior all the time.
Well, that really sticks well with the story, because they're willing to accommodate her, because she is a little bit older. Right? She really should, you weren't responsible enough, and this is what happens when you're not responsible. Yeah. Even though if this was me as a 12-year-old, I would be like, you better find my shit.
Oh, totally. And like,
but I do like how it applies to the story. But I agree with you. Right? I agree with you.
For the story, it totally makes sense, and I understand why they did it. Like, no complaints.
That's why this movie hurts.
Exactly. That's why this movie gets to you, because you're like, oh my god, guys!
They're constantly going up the stairs while the bad guy is right at the bottom. Well, and all the doors are boarded up. This is the entire movie. It's like, or you're going down to all these places that you shouldn't. Like,
and I feel like it all just ties into the idea of like, these people don't actually, like, I wouldn't say they don't care, but they don't really have any concept of their child's welfare. Whether it's something like this crazy anxiety she's experiencing, or putting her in this dangerous situation, or refusing to leave after you see something like her being put into this bed that should absolutely make you leave as a parent, and you're just not. I'm like, y'all.
This is when actions speak louder than words. Because being like, that was bad. That's not helpful. No. That is not helpful. No. That's not going to help the situation. They're going to do it again.
Also, like, her freaking out over the bunny and stuff. Like, I get it. She's a kid. Kids can't regulate their emotions. Meltdowns are going to happen. That's a thing. I would not blame a kid for that. But the fact that at 11, your kid thinks it's okay to kick the back of her dad's seat in the car while he's driving and doing all this other shit. Oh, no. Absolutely not. You are not risking everyone's safety because you're upset about your bunny. Like, as a parent, you got to draw a line, guys. Like, this is it. This is it.
I'm just having brat flashbacks. Sorry.
No, like, I get, and again, like, I also did it too. Like, I freaked out at 11. I would cry. Like, I would scream. Like, it was a whole thing. Absolutely.
Oh, the one thing that I saw looking up for the director, James Watkins, is that he did the Black Mirror episode Shut Up and Dance. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Where it's okay. And it's such a trippy episode.
That's a crazy episode.
And I thought
that's one of the early ones. Yeah.
Handled that subject matter well.
He did.
And that cinematographer is the same cinematographer for Speak No Evil.
That makes a lot of sense.
So it was fun looking up the cinematographer as well for the Danish one, because he has also worked previously with his. And I love film friendships.
I do too.
Like to see the matching filmography. It is my favorite for sure. So that's a fun, because I really liked that episode of Black Mirror.
Again, that ending.
Yes.
Huh. It's a theme.
It is a theme. So that was fun to look that up, because it definitely felt like that episode was pretty heavy, and this movie definitely handled pretty heavy subject matter.
It definitely did. Although let's get into it a little bit, and we'll talk about the American one and some of the differences between the two, because a lot of these movies, like the openings and things like that, are actually very, very similar. They're not like shot for shot remake, but like a lot of the dialogue is the same, the order of the sequences. In the American one, I feel like you kind of just get like a more fleshed out version. You know, for example, there's like a few scenes of them together on holiday at the beginning, whereas in the Danish one, there's only like one or two. Like, you know, they have a couple dinners and like they hang out a couple times.
Oh, Becca, scrunch or fold? If that was going to show your charisma, like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that was a choice.
It was a choice. It is a very funny scene.
It is. It's very funny. And I understand why something like that would be so disarming at that point. Like, at the beginning of the movie, especially for James MacAvoy, he's so charismatic that, like, you kind of get it.
You just want to have fun.
Right? Like, you're on vacation. You're not really worried about, you know, who you're going to meet or anything like that. Like, you're here to relax. You're just having a good time. And, like, there's this annoying couple and he manages to get rid of them, but it's in like a very funny way and things like that. Like you can see him endearing himself particularly to Ben.
It's your classic good time guy until it's not a good time anymore.
You got to be careful with good time guys. They're not always a great time. Like,
yes, especially ones that are out front. But yeah, I agree with you. It definitely it's an interesting sequence. It's an interesting sequence.
And yeah, like what I thought was so interesting was I'd seen this one before. So watching it again is how subtle but how quick some of the red flags are. It's even in the first few things that he's saying, James MacAvoy. Like, for example, the sequence with the moped when, Agnes wants to go on the ride and like mom and dad aren't really sure because she doesn't have a helmet and things like that. And he's, swearing up, down, and sideways that he'll be safe. And his comment is, come on, don't be the fun police. Like, don't police fun. And it's like, why are you making me into the bad guy right now?
And there's
I
several
literally just asked you if you had a helmet.
moments like that he does
Right?
that.
It's just like little digs, little things. And I'm always like, I hate that.
And a good example of his inappropriate humor is so it goes from toilet humor, and then it goes to, oh yeah, we were just a little rough last night, referring to her bruises when they're about to jump into the lake.
Yes, when his wife has a bunch of bruises all over her rib cage specifically.
So that just shows like the flip and the transition of how far it goes. Did you have a pitch by chance for the Danish one?
I do, but I thought we could leave our pitches maybe to the end, or do you want to do them now?
Yeah, you tell me your Danish pitch, because I did one kind of in general for the two.
Okay, so I did separate pitches today. Actually, I do have one fun fact we did not get to for the Danish version.
Okay,
so I will quickly list that off first, which is that several of the auditioning actors and even some of his Danish colleagues asked the writer-director Christian Toftrup to rewrite the finale, or at least give the Dutch couple some kind of outside motivation for what they were doing, as opposed to just like, why did you do this? Because you let us. It's sort of like Strangers vibes, like because you were home, like very similar kind of deal. And Tafstrup's comment was like he tried to write a couple different endings, but in the end, nothing worked because it changed the movie into, quote, a Netflix film where everything is explained. We love a little subtle dig at Netflix. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
That's so funny.
And to speak on like more true crime elements, essentially it is escalation at its final form.
Absolutely.
So it really does start off with little allowances and things that he's been able to get away with.
Absolutely.
And it just keeps going on to bigger, grander schemes because not everybody's great.
Not every good time guy is a good guy.
Yes.
As we said.
Yes.
I'm sure Ted Bundy thought he was a real good time guy. Okay. No, absolutely not.
100% a chameleon.
Okay. Pitch. Are we ready?
We are ready. I have a timer.
Okay, you have a timer? Okay, let's do it.
And go.
Our story opens 5 years later with Agnes, now a teenager, living with Patrick and Karen. Effectively a slave enduring constant abuse, Agnes cannot forget what the Dutch couple did to her family and begins to plot her revenge. Just as her plans begin to take shape, Patrick announces that they are overdue for a vacation. Knowing that this means a new family is about to become victims of the Dutch couple's murderous obsession, Agnes attacks Patrick and Karen, beginning a night of violence that none of them will ever forget. If they survive. Done.
Amazing.
30 seconds. Woo!
Also dark, but relieving.
Right? I felt like sort of like the movie Revenge was kind of the vibe.
Beautiful, yeah.
A little bit. It's Agnes's revenge movie, because I think she deserves one after getting her poor little tongue cut off.
100%.
So I think Agnes is gonna just like fully go for it. Is mine.
That's why I do like the relief in the American ending, because he gets his time to shine.
He does.
I forgot, and then I was like, oh, fuck.
Well, I have a little more about that, but first, do you have a pitch for the Danish version?
I don't, actually.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't. I kind of grouped them together. It's a bit, it's a classic. It's a bit more of a premise. I'll save mine for the end.
For our lovely listeners who may not know, Jayme and I kind of have an understanding that if we're doing a double feature, you do not have to present two pitches. You can present one, because sometimes it's really hard, especially when you're dealing with a remake, because like it's kind of, the endings are different, but it's kind of the same movie. So like, how do you pitch too.
Exactly. And
Which, like, you could.
Depends
But
what kind of
I don't
angle
know.
you want to take, and you always take a pretty interesting approach. So I do appreciate you having two. It balances it out, and now we can get into the American one.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Also, stop. Thank you. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, the remake is effectively the same for the first, like, 75% of the movie, I would say. The only major differences are that instead of it being a Danish and Dutch couple, it is an American and English couple. So our Americans are on vacation in Italy, having moved to London. They meet this English couple in Italy and then wind up going back to their English country estate. Other than that, very, very similar. This movie stars Scoot McNairy as Ben, Mackenzie Davis as Louise, James MacAvoy as Patty, and Aisling Franciosi, I think is how you pronounce her last name, as Kira. And it was released in September of 2024, so 2 years after the original film, which is actually a pretty tight timeline for an American remake, especially of like this budget with like a decent, James McAvoy's got like decent star power and things like that. So I think it must have been not long after its release that Blumhouse decided they wanted to remake it, I would assume.
So did we discuss their budget already for this one?
No, we have not. How much do you think this movie cost?
I'm going to go with the same answer. This one also looks 10 million.
This one was a little more. This was 15 million.
Okay.
And I suspect that is probably because, for example, you have James McAvoy, and also it was like a much larger production.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, just like the production value and things like that is higher. Like you can tell that they were working with more money.
Because especially like for the Danish crew, you're obviously already in Europe, as opposed to bringing in an American crew to Europe.
Well, this was actually mostly shot in England.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I
So
keep
they
doing
used
this thing.
English
I keep doing this thing because I forget that James Watkins is British.
Yes.
So so I agree with you. So then most of the budget would have to been used for actors,
cast and things like that. Well, also it's just like a higher production value movie. So for example, when you're watching it, like at the very beginning, Ben and Louise's apartment is like a gorgeous, like multi-million-dollar apartment because this is an American movie.
Correct. And the action sequence at the end.
Exactly.
Bit more gunpowder, bit more people on set.
Lots of blood, lots of prosthetics. It's like a whole deal. So yes, this cost $15 million. Would you like to guess how much it made?
I hope it made its money back.
Well, would you like to guess its opening?
I hope you guys did like 10 million. 10's my number today. 10.
Very close. They did 11.5 opening weekend and a total worldwide of $77.2 million. So this movie did well. This movie made its budget back more than 4 times.
Which makes me so happy because then the original writer-director hopefully got his percentage.
Yes, I would assume so. I don't know much
Knowing
about
his release, I hope he was able to...
I hope so. I don't know what kind of deals Blumhouse gives, but I hope they're good.
Me too. Basically. I hope you got good lawyers.
I hope you got good representation, darling.
Me just worried about people making lots of money.
Yes. Yeah,
capitalism, baby.
Well, also just like pay artists, like pay.
That's kind of how I feel.
People, like
figuring out how long it takes for some movies to get made, and for especially independent movies, and then being able to like kind of like hop it onto a Blumhouse production. Right. It is pretty legit. Yes. You guys are cool. You guys are cool guys.
Yes. Okay. So let's get into some of the differences about this movie.
Yes.
Because this movie is different than the original. Like we were saying before, a lot of the scenes are more fleshed out. They gave Kira a lot more of her own sort of backstory and character than Karen gets in the original. At least that was how I felt. Because, for example, you do have the sequence where she talks about experiencing a cradle death. And then later you talk about, she talks about Patty taking her and all of these things. So, like, it gives you a much clearer picture of, like, potentially what her past was like or, like, who she is as a person. Just, like, a little more fleshed out as a character.
Well, it conflicts you because it makes her a victim, too.
Exactly.
But she's also committing the crime.
She's actively participating in this at the same time.
Very
murky.
Yeah.
Murky. I feel like if the first movie can be described as bleak, this one could be described as murky.
Yes.
Like, kind of the vibe. So the ending is different.
That seaweed?
Ooh, hey. As I say, the ending is different because in the original, you have, Agnes being mutilated, and then Bjorn and Louise being stoned / bludgeoned to death in a ditch. Real awful. Hate it. Whereas in this version, you have basically a battle for survival between Ben and Louise and the kids, and then Patty and Kira, which ultimately ends with Patty and Kira both dead. Like, Kira falls off a rooftop and Patty is bludgeoned to death by Abel, which was actually an intentional nod to the original from the director. That's why he bludgeons him to death with a stone.
I unfortunately, when that happened, I was like, oh, yeah,
good for him. That's such a horror fan reaction. Like, get it, my king.
For real.
Like, they mutilated you and killed your parents. Get it.
When he throws him in the lake
Get it.
and he can't swim.
Right? That was
my
so
gosh.
awful.
Rude.
So for the original ending, where you have like Agnes being kept and all of these things and the parents being murdered, the director felt that this version of events was a brilliant satire specifically on Danish compliance. But for the American remake, after talking with like cast members and audiences and things, he decided that the Americans, with their quote frontier mentality or can-do culture, which is so real, would be less, he used the word quiescent, so less, I guess, they wouldn't roll over, basically, is the way I would put it. And they would at least try to fight back. Because in the original, the couple, Bjorn and Louise, they don't really fight back at any point. Because they basically just refuse to accept what's happening to them until they can't anymore. But
the call is coming from inside the house.
Come on, baby. Yeah. You gotta go. So the remake does have a more optimistic ending, but like,
you saw all the watches in their drawer.
Right. It's still a lot. But they were very intentional about the fact to not make the Americans like superhumans who suddenly know how to be Rambo in an emergency situation, which I did actually really appreciate. James Watkins deliberately made their defense and their escape attempts clumsy because that's what real people would do.
It feels real.
Right? It feels very similar to like Green Room when he talked about the fact that these are people who are not prepared for the circumstances that they are in. And there's something about that I always really appreciate in a horror movie where like someone's not making actively stupid decisions, but they may not be the best decisions just because you're panicking and you don't know what's going on and you are an everyday person. You are not James Bond.
Exactly.
So I appreciated that. How did you feel about the performances in this movie?
They were great. You were just watching James MacAvoy chew the scenery.
But I loved it.
It was essentially that. And
I'm sorry, we're gonna get into it now. He's so buff, and I'm not normally a real like buff man kind of girl. Like I joke that I like a man who you can tell has never said no to a cookie in his entire life. Like that's kind of my type.
I think it definitely
James MacAvoy, baby. Oh, you be looking good. I got some complicated feelings, man. I don't know.
It was interesting to have his character like that, essentially just to make him already seem intimidating.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes.
Which was great.
Yes. I think that's really what it is. And like James MacAvoy has talked about that. Like his comment was it was kind of coincidental because he had gotten into weightlifting and stuff in the last like couple of years. So he was like the bulkiest he'd ever been. And when he got the part, he was like, well, I guess I'll just like keep bulking up because he's that kind of guy. Like it will add to that intimidation factor. And I want to be very, very clear for anybody who might be listening. Physically, I think he's very attractive in this movie. I do not find his character attractive. And I think that's a very important distinction. Like, I do love a good time guy, but I think that's a very important distinction. So
like goes to the beach,
just
rides
like,
a skateboard. Chill good time guys.
Skateboard, Jayme, you're triggering me. But I digress. I just felt the need to make that distinction there.
There's a board.
Well, I mean, the other thing, and the reason why I make that distinction is because when James MacAvoy has talked about making this movie, he's also talked about the fact that he modeled the sort of like toxic masculinity aspect of his character that you see him taking out on Ant for like the entire movie. He literally modeled it after Andrew Tate. And like,
well, when you have lots of source material to look through,
you're
putting that out there. That's,
like it's all there.
This is why actors are great because they're just like, I just became this weird person for a couple months.
This like weird, awful guy. I used him as inspiration to play a horrible homicidal villain. And I'm like, you know what? Good for you.
And they're not my favorite movies, but the Split franchise that he plays in, where he does have all the personalities, he does like an excellent job there. He really it's James MacAvoy.
He's honestly so good. Like he's actually such a great actor.
It would be like I can't. There's nothing. No qualms.
And then he shows up in like X-Men and like all kinds of other stuff. Like he's out here doing some fun stuff. And, like, I loved Atonement back in the day. He was really good in it. Like, I do...
Worst little girl in the world.
Oh, Saoirse Ronan, why are you the worst? Oh, God, she...
For real, poor girl.
But honestly, though, for that movie, if we're going to get into it, Benedict Cumberbatch is in that movie. And he plays, like, a legit villain. Like, someone awful, like... through the whole movie who, like, of course, Saoirse Ronan is the villain of the movie. But, like, he's a very close second. That was the first thing I ever saw him in, and it just like imprinted on my brain, and now I cannot see him as like a good guy. And I know he's played like Sherlock, and he's been in all of these like really nice movies and things, and I'm sure he's a really nice man, but like it just imprinted on my brain. And I'm like,
crazy how actors can do that. It's like you've embodied a character so well that I can't look at you.
Right? Like I want to see Benedict Cumberbatch play a serial killer at this point. Like he'd be so good at it. He plays a great villain. He really sells it. And it's like, I agree. It's like almost a compliment to your talents that you just
for real
imprinted on my brain as this character. But now that is all I see you as, I cannot help myself.
That's why I think that's why he, again, is like, we're just reaffirming why he is an excellent casting choice.
Absolutely.
Because he's also played these like very like young man roles.
Yes.
So he does have this already disarmingness to him.
He does.
Which is scary.
When someone is so, like we keep joking about being a good time guy, but when someone is so charismatic, it is so disarming.
Especially if you're on vacation in the way that they are.
Right? Exactly. And then again, like disarming, I think is the perfect word for it, right? Because like, we're all just having a great time, man. What are you so worried about?
You got taken to a second location.
Oh, don't even worry about it. Or when they go out for dinner and they announce that the kids aren't coming and there's just a babysitter. Like,
a male babysitter.
Right? And I mean, don't get me wrong. I would potentially hire a male babysitter depending on the context. I would potentially do that. Sure.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't want to discriminate.
Well, just like not one I've never clapped eyes on before. Because any babysitter I've never clapped eyes on before, regardless of their gender, if you're just showing up, I would be, that's sus.
I'm being ageist. All right. It's an older gentleman. He is like, you know what I mean?
And you know what? Like, they say he's a teacher and he's great with kids. And like, maybe that's the case. But the point is, I don't know.
I don't see a certificate.
And also,
I don't see any pictures of no kids. Yeah.
That's the other thing is like, oh, didn't I tell you? No, actually, you didn't. You didn't mention that you were getting a babysitter for the kids.
Because this is where the emphasis on the politeness comes through.
Exactly.
Because they have this, simply the dinner that they have planned.
Right.
And she went through describing how this man is going to make this meal for them in his home.
It's like a chef's table thing. And it's like this really big deal. And like, if you make a big deal now, it's going to be like a big fuss and that like social pressure. And like, that's why I said for me, that isn't necessarily when I would leave right away.
Yes.
But for example, in the American version, Agnes has a cell phone. So I would be saying to her, like, you're going to message me every, half an hour, every hour, however long we're gone, and make sure that you're okay. And if this babysitter tells you you're not allowed, you tell him that my mom told me I have to do this.
100%.
Like, no, we are checking in. We're making sure you're okay. Like, call me crazy all you want, but that's what we're doing at that point. Like, yep, that's it.
It's so interesting. In that dinner scene... and
just dinner scene,
especially the conversation of just pushing back on her beliefs and
her pescatarianism,
frustrating, but it also was an example of how he is approaching every subject from that point on.
Right. Well, it's that thing with like the toxic masculinity that he talks about with like all of those types is they have no respect for anyone's boundaries other than their own. And that I feel like Patty is kind of like the epitome of that, where like she has this boundary around being pescatarian, so he's going to push back at it. They have social boundaries about, it's generally considered not socially acceptable to pretend to get a blowjob under a table at dinner. They're going to push those boundaries. Like they're going to push and push and push because that's what they want to do. And it's a question of how much will you take? And the answer is apparently a lot.
I like how both films decided to choose to make somebody uncomfortable during dinner.
Yep. Oh yeah. Everybody's
the
getting
American one, very risque. Very risque.
Very risque.
But like you were saying, just boundaries pushed. No
and
good.
it's the idea of like, oh, we're just kidding. It's just a joke.
It's
I hate that. That was the worst justification ever.
Crawl.
Right? Just makes your skin crawl. Like anytime somebody's like, oh, it's just a joke. No, actually, I don't believe you. I don't think it is. I think you're just kind of gross. Like, I think that's what we're doing here because jokes have punchlines. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's when you I think is that when they make their first attempt to try to leave after that dinner the next day, or when do they try again?
I think that's when they talk about leaving and he doesn't want to leave. It's when they get back from swimming, I think, because she says she wants to use her neck as an excuse to leave.
Yes.
And he says no, and that's when they get invited to the dinner. So that's when they stay for the dinner. And then I think like after that is when...
Yeah, sure, I'd love to.
Right? Sure. Okay.
Brutal.
Yeah, for me, I would have left after the dinner. I'd be like, insert excuse here. Thank you so much for like a beautiful evening, especially after he gets Ben to pay for it. That killed me in both versions. The fact that Ben pays for it.
I will say that there's been times in my life where I would just suck it up and pay for it.
Me too.
But I am in the situation now where if I would pay for it and then make sure I got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and because honestly, I might even use that as a reason.
There is something wrong.
Honestly, I didn't like the fact that you just assumed I was going to pay for this very fancy and I'm assuming very expensive dinner. And like, don't get me wrong, I can pay for it, but I would have appreciated talking about that or even just some kind of discussion.
Also, I need evidence that I was at this location because I could have been murdered by this person.
Right.
So I want to be tracked. Yeah, sure, I'll use my CC.
I'll use my credit card. Absolutely.
Here's my hair. Here's my fingerprints.
Right? Everywhere.
I was here. These movies are great. They're
so good.
Quite a slice of horror. It's an excellent addition to modern horror, both the Danish film and this film, because there is such a difference. They are quite necessary. The themes of politeness always need to be brought up because boundaries are always going to be pushed no matter how much therapy you go into.
Yes, it's true.
Until you're in the situation.
Right? You never know what you're going to do. And the other thing is like, apparently when they tested this movie, a lot of the audience members, at least like mostly, I'm going to go ahead and say it, mostly male audience members, apparently said that Ben was like a wimp because he has that like breakdown in the third act where he's like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? And he like considers giving up and they wanted him to be like that Rambo kind of guy. But the director basically was like, no, like one, that's not the point. He wouldn't know what to do.
Well, especially since the monarch character, the mom, essentially did really handle most of the situations. It doesn't make sense to why she would do that. That wouldn't be in his character. Like he would, like him manning up is how he manned up in the movie, essentially, is admitting defeat, which is sometimes the biggest thing.
It is. And well, for this, the director's comment was he purposefully made Ben a quote like beta male. And it's because the alpha in that marriage is Louise. It's not Ben. And that was very intentional, which is why like she's the one who kicks most ass, does all this stuff, protects the kids. She like almost blinds James MacAvoy not once but twice. She like kills some guy with a hammer.
The Cotton Eye Joe scene.
Oh my God.
Well, defending Abel.
Yeah, and just being like, he's a kid. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Calm down, bro.
That is an example of why it showed that she was the
alpha.
Yes.
Because through the whole movie, she's the one who speaks up. She's the one who says, like, I am uncomfortable. I want to leave. This is not okay. And meanwhile, Ben's just like, la-la-la-la-la, everything's fine. And I'm like, I hate it.
And I hated it, but I loved it because it was it was the trope of not believing the wife, which is so frustrating, but it's not a ghost. You know what I mean? Like, it's great.
And like, I get the whole subplot of her like having cheated on him. So like, or at least like emotionally, if not physically. And like, of course, that would erode trust between the two of you. Absolutely.
It's so funny. I don't know why I'm thinking of The Happening when Zooey Deschanel's just like, we had tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
We just had desserts. We just had tiramisu. If I'm misquoting that, I'm so sorry, but I just that M. Night Shyamalan. Thank you, I guess.
Oh God, I can't.
Back to this movie.
Oh God. Oh, okay.
So the distrust was there.
Yeah, so like I get the like distrust, but I also feel like, and I mean, maybe you can speak to this a little bit better than I can, Jayme, since you are unfianced and I am not. I feel like even if you are fighting to the point where you might break up with your partner, there's still a sort of like mutual human level where if they come to you and go, no, I am fucking terrified because of XYZ and we need to leave.
Yeah, safety over feelings.
Right? That you would still listen. And even if you're like, okay, I don't know if I feel the same way, but if you are that scared, we will go.
Which just, it just definitely displays how he is such a beta.
Right? Well, also, I feel like it's really selfish.
Yes.
Because she points it out at one point where, like, she gave up her whole life to move to London, and then he lost his job, and she's still just supporting his life. She's not really having any life of her own at this point. And so, like, admittedly, she did something stupid in that she, like, was, sexting somebody or something like that? Like, they talk about it at one point, like, sort of cheating, but not actually having sex with someone else kind of deal.
Emotional cheating.
Yeah, like, it's still cheating, but, like, not actually sleeping with somebody or, like, whatever the case was.
I think I'm just, it makes me annoyed. I don't know if it's just my brain, but if the house is on fire, I don't want you to be sitting down crying about how it's on fire.
Exactly.
We have to leave the house. We discussed our safety plan.
Proactive.
Why aren't we meeting at the tree? We got to meet at the tree. We're not meeting at the tree right now.
We have our family evacuation plan.
Exactly.
And you are not following it. What are we doing?
Tell us what your tree looks like.
Right?
Thank you. What's your emergency tree meeting? Yeah. Tree meeting spot.
Tree meeting.
Is it a strong oak?
Right? A cedar at my parents' house.
Yes. See?
Yeah. Hey. But yeah, exactly. Like, it's the idea that you're just kind of rolling over.
That's the metaphor that I'll use for that.
Just like, yeah.
It just makes it frustrating because it makes it frustrating, but it also helps build the tension of this movie. Simply, they need to leave.
You should
simply
leave.
Need to leave. Yeah, you
should leave. Okay. What would you rate this movie, Jimmy?
This one I'm also giving a 7. 7 on 7.
Same.
Simply same answers. Like, it could be, I don't really know what could make it better, but it's still sitting in a good
I do feel like the runtime is a tiny bit long.
It is.
A tiny bit. Like, I feel like there are a couple scenes at like the beginning and just like a couple scenes that could be trimmed. They don't even need to be removed. They could just be trimmed. Because I think this came in at, I think, like an hour 50. And I feel like you could get it down to an hour 40, 45 if 100%. You really wanted to. So just like the tiniest bit. But I'm being really nitpicky at that point. Like,
yeah, because like it's so much just scenery chewing and cutting back on some action sequences. But you almost need them to help build the tension. So I do agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But it's like, how?
One thing that really stood out to me for this, because like it does create a moment of humor, is the use of the Bangles, the song that they're singing.
Oh yeah.
It's so much, because like in the Danish one, it's a Dutch song, which I don't know the significance of as a non-Dutch viewer, but like the Bangles.
The Bangles, Cotton Eye Joe. It was quite a time. It was quite a time for sure.
It really, really was. It really, really was.
So much pressure on a homemade dance.
Right? This poor little kiddo. Like, just let him do his thing. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. They're kids. Like, calm down, bro. You are too invested. Calm down. So this movie premiered, as I said earlier, on September 13th, 2024. And it generally got pretty good reviews. Like, most people's comment was, yes, it's a remake, but since they changed the ending things, it's a justified remake, basically. Like, the quote from Rotten Tomatoes was, "Harnessing sick suspense from the glimmer in James MacAvoy's eye, Speak No Evil is a remake that hushes up concerns of been there, done that." Because while they are quite similar, I do think that they both stand on their own 2 feet in that way. Like, they are both good movies.
I think they knew that going into it, people already knew about the Danish one.
They did. Although James MacAvoy apparently made a point of not watching it before the movie.
I'm glad.
Me too, because he didn't want it to influence his performance. But within 24 hours of being wrapped, he watched it and was like, damn, that was really good. which I thought was funny. I was like, okay, I love that.
That
for
is
you.
funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
I do have a couple of fun facts for us.
Spill it.
Yes. So James Watkins, the writer-director, was considering doing a film with Blumhouse and had never heard of the original Speak No Evil. So Blumhouse actually gave him a copy of the movie to see if he would be interested in potentially working on it. And he was really impressed by it and like really loved basically the whole thing, but especially the dark ending because it reminded him of his movie Eden Lake from 2008, which is a great movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's quite fun.
It's a lot. We'll talk about it at some point, I'm sure. It's a lot. But what he actually didn't know was that Christian Tafdrup, the director of the Danish version, had literally said that Eden Lake was a direct inspiration for Speak No Evil, which I thought was kind of a cute little coincidence. I loved that. Excuse me. The note that Ant at one point writes to Agnes is in Danish, indicating that his murdered family was from Denmark, which is also like a nod to the original, obviously. And then on the back of the watch that was his father's, the inscription is in Danish.
Heartbreaking scene.
Oh, it's so sad.
I don't know what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, and it basically, like the watch engraving basically translates to apparently like happy 40th birthday kind of deal.
Yes, that was my assumption with the 40.
Excuse me. But the other thing with making Ant Danish was it was an additional language barrier. So even though his poor little tongue is gone, even if he could speak or could write something, it's going to be in Danish. And they are in England. So while there may be some crossover there, it is going to be very slim. So most people are not going to understand you.
Which is why the tongue cutting, as much as it is horrific, it is effective because they are able to dismiss it so quickly.
Right? And well, like, because that's the thing. Like, you kidnap a kid in that sense. How do you stop them from telling someone? That's a very effective way to do it. They won't tell anyone anything ever again, at least
horrifying
verbally.
Barriers. Yes.
Horrifying.
Yes, like you said.
Horrifying. But the notes on the words in the note that Ant writes to Agnes roughly translates to, please help me escape. This place is unsafe. The film both starts and ends with a shot of Ant's face driving inside a car. And the writer-director, James Watkins, said that he wanted to avoid an ending where everybody's safe and everything is well and wonderful in the world. So, like, his comment was, they survived, but there's a tragedy to it because of the human cost, and I really wanted to lean into that. I wanted it to be true of the sadness of the final image. Here's a boy who's lost his parents and gone through a horrific situation. He's been physically and mentally abused and has had to commit an act of violence. So there's an emotional release in there that I find quite moving, but I also didn't want people to have any doubt. They have survived and will continue down this road, but it will not be easy.
I hope they keep him.
I know, me too. I thought about that. I really hope they adopt Ant and they keep him. I hope so. Poor little kiddo.
For real.
Last thing he needs is a fucked up foster home experience.
But I'm glad he went in.
Yeah. Ant. What a
guy. Very hard watch. Done very well too. Makeup was really good.
Yes, the prosthetics and makeup in this were really good, particularly when James MacAvoy's eye gets like fucked from whatever cleaner she puts on him. Which that, honestly, I want to give Louise, the character, credit for coming up with that. That's a great idea, especially in the moment where, like, okay, I'm in a bathroom and someone is coming for me with like a knife or a gun or like something. What do? Create a distraction. Hey, corrosive household cleaners. We love to see it.
Make like Toxic Avenger, but light.
Right? Toxic Avenger light.
Yeah.
No, with less calories.
Yeah. Especially when he just gets to the point where he starts grabbing any weapon too. Could have been a mop.
Right? And those were your fun facts, friends.
Very good facts.
So, my friend, do you have a pitch?
I do have a pitch.
Okay, let me get a timer going here for you. Okay, timer is up. We are ready. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, and go.
So I have a premise idea, and my premise is a prequel.
Okay.
And it is to his first time being successful. Oh. So in his earlier, so it can be a throwback. We're going back in time. Almost kind of a blend of like the American and the Denmark, similar in like, so it's not super, super bleak, but it will be pretty bleak, but it'll bring it up. But that's kind of my pitch. Just a prequel.
A vibes pitch. I like it.
Yeah, always.
Always the vibes.
Always a premise.
Always bringing the vibes.
Always a vibe.
Okay, so I do have a little pitch that I put together here.
Very excited.
To be honest, Jayme, this pitch is mostly for you as opposed to our listeners because this
Beautiful.
has a very specific reference in it that is mostly for Jayme.
I like a reference that's specific for me. That's fabulous.
If you're ready.
And go.
Louise, having realized that Ben sucks, leaves him and takes the kids. They three then proceed to have a lovely adventure in London. Very Olsen twin movies vibes, because they deserve a break and a shopping montage. Damn it. The end. That's my pitch.
That's fabulous, because capitalism wins.
Right? They deserve
a shopping trip.
A shopping montage. Okay, if anybody deserves a fun Olsen twin style shopping montage, it is Ant and Agnes, okay?
They're just winning London. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. And they deserve it.
That is so silly. I'm glad she leaves. Like, you should have left. These people are the worst.
Even if your husband doesn't want to leave, at that point you can be like, okay, fine, call a fucking Uber. I'm leaving.
If it's your longtime friends that should have never gotten married and should get divorced and are never getting divorced, and you're going to them for a weekend cabin, that's when you put up with all this weird polite kindness. You know what I mean?
And honestly,
but because they're strangers, what are you doing?
Even then, by the end of that weekend, somebody's having it out. The truth is coming out.
Yes. And I want to be there with a drink or
so many drinks,
a little something to schmick-a-boo.
A schmick-a-boo.
Now, these movies were great. Like, technically well done.
Would you say they were worth the bitch?
They were worth the bitch, 100%.
I completely agree.
I wouldn't mind, actually, them revisiting some sort of character arc. I'm not sure, but at the same time, I do like it as a standalone, too, if they were going to keep it. It already is a remake of a...
I think it's, honestly, I think it's kind of good as a standalone. Like, as far as I know, there are no plans for a sequel. I couldn't find anything. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. I think just kind of leave it, because you could definitely pick up certain story threads. Like
100%.
You could pick up with the kids or with Ben and Louise or like any number of other things. But I think... because the movie is so driven by Patty as a character, even though, again, he's not the protagonist, because it's so driven by him, without him, I don't know that it would work. So unless you wanted to do some kind of a prequel, like you said, where maybe it's about like a younger Patty or something like that, that could maybe work. But even then, I'm good with this as a standalone. I really don't think it needs a sequel. Like, I think we're kind of good.
We have spoken all the evil we need to speak.
It has all been spoken. None remaining.
Yeah. Oh, this was fun, you guys.
This was fun. This was a good one. I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah.
And guys, we have a very special announcement about our next episode. Next episode, episode 6, we are going to be discussing a very exciting movie because I've never seen it, and I don't think Jamie's seen it. I
haven't seen it either.
Which is Creep from 2014, directed by Patrick Bryce. And it is also going to be our season finale for season 2. We should leave.
We're done leaving.
We're done. We're going to stay. We're going to stay, which is why we're done.
The trending audio. I think I'm going to die in this house.
Yep. I think we're going to stay in this house. So definitely join us next week. It's going to be a very special episode.
And for everybody, if you didn't know and you wanted to know, I'm Jayme.
And I'm Becca. And if you want to contact us, feel free to give us a follow on that Instagram at Pitch and Bitch Pod, which is PITCHNBITCHPOD. Or you can shoot us an email at pnb.pod.show@gmail.com. And I think that's kind of it.
Thank you so much.
We love you. Bye.